Three possible new albums by the Shu himself. We have a lot of new stuff coming up when it comes to Travis because we're looking at the Mirage solo record, we're looking at Jackboys 2, and also now it seems like Quavo wants to just get involved, always hinting at Huncho Jack, Jack Huncho 2. Today we'll talk about all of this, so let's jump straight into this. If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description. Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 10 seconds into the future, but you can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and recaps everything that's been happening in hip hop over the past week, so make sure to do that. So we've been talking about this solo project from Travis coming up, which at this point, at least we thought was going to be called Mirage. This was a theory that fans started having because we did have those shirts from the Utopia tour that said Mirage on them. And how we got to know that it was Utopia back after Astroworld was because the word Utopia was teased on some of the Astroworld merch, and it was kind of a motive on the shirts. And so people thought, okay, this could just be the way that he's going to be releasing this next project. And also Mirage, if you took a look at the definition, it was all about the desert. It was all about optical illusions, and it just seemed like Travis was doing a bunch of desert themed stuff over the past couple of weeks and months at this point. Also, we always talked about Coachella, which is actually coming up this upcoming weekend, which is very exciting. It's a 2-weekend festival, so that's pretty cool. So we have this upcoming the 12th and 13th, and then the 19th and 20th. But now we do have another poster because originally we had the Travis posted one where it says that he was designing this, and we thought that this was kind of going to be a bigger involvement from his part. But now we got the official lineup and Travis is not performing, and I mean, at no point did we ever think that that was actually going to be happening. We knew that he was just kind of the designer on this one. But if you just take a look at the poster, you can tell that it's just at the bottom, Travis Scott designs the desert, and it's just different people all throughout the, possible days that we have for the festival. So this means that likely we will not get a performance. We will likely also not get new music still this Friday before the festival, which was the date that obviously we all were looking forward to. And the reason I'm making this video now, because this was the date that we kind of looked to when we thought, okay, there's got to be some deadline for when Travis has got to do something or Cactus Jack got to do something. So we have to wait and see how all of this plays out. Another argument against this is that he just announced the worldwide leg of his Utopia tour, the Circus Maximus tour, that already enjoyed a US tour, obviously, then the European tour that I've been to in last summer of 2024. And then now he's also added different dates all over the world starting this October. So at this point, honestly, I don't want to be the messenger of bad news, but in this case, if he doesn't drop before October, before he finishes off the entirety of the Circus Maximus tour, I wouldn't be surprised if we get nothing before October, and then after October, we start into the new rollout. It's only half a year until October, so I can honestly see that happening and that we don't get anything this summer. But what we could be getting is either Jackboys 2 or Huncho Jack, Jack Huncho 2, which is obviously the collab tape between Quavo and Travis that the first one dropped in 2017 was pretty good. I believe a couple of people still, see it as underrated just because it didn't receive the very widespread critical acclaim that a lot of other records from both of them have received, and 2 of the 3 songs did really pop off, but a lot of them are also really good and never received that much attention. So if you haven't given that one a listen yet, make sure to go do it. But let's talk about Jackboys 2 real quick. It's still a project that we were kind of expecting. We thought that this was the perfect time for them to drop. We've gotten so many hints. We thought that this was the time to drop, and if he does drop anything before that October date, if it's not the Mirage solo record, we're calling it Mirage now, it could be called anything else, Jackboys 2 would be a pretty good option. That way it's not like his project. He doesn't need to drop another solo project before finishing the tour of the project before that, which doesn't make a lot of sense if you get what I'm saying. But he could just drop Jackboys 2 and then perform some of the songs, bring out some of the other Cactus Jack members when he goes on tour in October. That will make a whole lot of sense. At this point, that's what I believe. Let's not get our hopes up for another solo record. Let's talk about Huncho Jack Jack Huncho 2 now, because if you go back, Quavo has been hinting at this for a very long time. If we go back to 2014, Quavo was all over social media, for example, posting stuff like thinking HJ2, so that's Huncho Jack, and then tag Jack. And this was July 7th, 2024. So that's not even a year ago. So I feel like at this point, he wouldn't just post something like this. We got another story with the HJ2 as well. And then most recently, I believe this was 4 or 5 days ago. I included this in the newsletter as well. We had him repost a story from Travis and saying HJ2 still. So, at this point, I also doubt that he would just put out something like this if there wasn't anything going on. He's been doing this for almost a year at this point. And I mean, if Quavo was just like desperately trying to reach out to Travis this way by trying to get Travis to notice him by him publicly calling him out, that would be a little sad, to be honest. So I do think that there is something going on behind the scenes of the two of them working together. And the fact that it's almost been a year since he first started teasing this can also make you think that maybe this project is closer to completion than we might expect, just because this hasn't been highlighted as much by a lot of the attention that we've been given stuff. But maybe this is really one of the next possible projects. I do believe Quavo could also play a role on Jack Boys, obviously, but it is quite possible that we could have 3 different Travis Scott records right now that are coming up within the next year, let's say, with Jack Boys 2, Huncho Jack 2, and Mirage solo record. And this is obviously pretty exciting. I mean, I don't think we ever had like 3 distinct records that were being teased at by Travis. I mean, Mirage is not really being teased at, but he is teasing at new music dropping, for example. With 4x4, he still pretty much confused us because that didn't sound like a solo record, but it was a solo record. It was nobody else featured on there. It's not like a Cactus Jack collab single. So this wasn't specifically, at least, assigned the attribute of being for the Jack Boys 2 record. But then again, it didn't feel like an album single like we've gotten for the past couple of records, where usually the singles are pretty weird and don't really feel like they are great standalone singles. But in the case of 4x4, it did feel like it was made to be a standalone single. Anyway, we talked about this quite lengthily when this was all happening. At this point, we can just wait. We have this festival coming up, maybe through the designs that Travis is doing at Coachella the next 2 weekends. We'll get some sort of idea of where his head is at, of where he's creatively at, of what is coming. Maybe also with the occasion of him being in the spotlight like this, by being the designer of the stage, he'll also announce something that is concerning new music. But obviously, we have to wait and see. I do want to know what y'all think about this, though. Did it kind of let you down to see the official lineup now from Coachella over the next couple of weekends? Did you think that Travis was going to play a bigger role in this? And what do you think the next project is going to be? Is it Huncho Jack 2? Is it Jack Boys 2? Is it the Mirage solo record? Is the solo record even called Mirage? How credible do you take that theory to actually be? I mean, it's just something that fans made up and kind of puzzled back together from the merch that we had, from the fact that this was the way that it was with Utopia. Let me know all your thoughts on this in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.